How's it going, everyone? I'm Chase Lee reporting for DallasMoviescreens.com, and I got another movie to review for you guys, and that would be Personal Shopper. This one stars Kristen Stewart, and it's from the same director as Clouds of Silmaria. I already forgot. That just shows you how committed I am. Anyways, I can't even pronounce the director's name, so I'm not going to even try because I'm an idiot. But I will say that Kristen Stewart is in that one as well, and that one got some high praise for some critics and people that enjoy this director's work. And then Personal Shopper got a lot of attention as well. And Kristen Stewart has been kind of hailed as a revelation in this film and in the Silmaria film. So I've been really curious to check this out. And I've always been a fan of Kristen Stewart beyond her Twilight films. Like, I think her and Robert Pattinson are actually good actors, and Taylor Lautner is selling tacos somewhere in Mexico. So, I've always believed that Kristen Stewart can take any role and make it her own. And this film just proves that. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. I didn't know what type of movie this was. I didn't read the plot. I just knew that Kristen Stewart was in it, and people were saying this was a great film. I like it. Now, I need to rewatch it again because it's a lot of small things throughout the film that I didn't really catch the first time and stuff. And it is definitely a movie that you need to watch more than once, because it's just one of those movies that just kind of, it comes at you really fast. It throws a lot of information at you while still being very subtle about some information. And then once it's done, you're like, I kind of want to rewatch that because I like it. But I need to fully kind of appreciate it. So before I even begin this review, I need to tell you guys the actual plot of the film. Not spoil anything, but this is what the film is like tone-wise. It is a ghost story set in the fashion underworld of Paris. Okay, so when you read that, you're like, well, I don't really know what to make of this, so I don't know what I'm getting myself into. And I can tell you right now that the kind of mesh of genres actually benefits this movie. So let's get real and break down Personal Shopper. So let's start with the writing and directing, because I think this is where the movie shines the most besides Kristen Stewart's performance. Now, let's get into the actual story of the film. I think the biggest takeaway you can take from this movie is that it's unpredictable. I had no idea how the movie was going to start. I had no idea how the movie was going to end. It kind of just goes off into these kind of interesting directions, and it kind of pulls you in because of how suspenseful and how masterfully crafted these scenes are directing wise. So the story itself is just, it's kind of it's very just interesting. It starts out with Kristen Stewart going to this house, and she's trying to communicate with the dead. And towards the end of the film, that's still continuing on and stuff, but you have no idea where it's going to kind of head with her character, or where it's going to kind of head with, the spiritual world that she's trying to contact. It's kind of going in these interesting directions that really just kind of compel you to watch more. And, at a film that's an hour and 40 minutes, it flies by because you're just so interested at what's going to happen next. I mean, we're talking about scenes that literally are just Kristen Stewart texting, and it's compelling. Like, that's how wonderfully directed this film is. And speaking of the direction, since the story itself is just rich with suspense, drama, great dialogue. Like, I don't even know how to describe the movie. It's just so interesting. But I really do like the story at hand. But the directing, the biggest compliment I can give about the film in general is the directing. The fact that the director could take us from scenes that are horrific, frightening, and just filled with suspense, and then turn it around the next scene and go into more of an emotional scene with a lot of depth with Kristen Stewart's character and how she's coping with, the loss and, the loss of her brother, and, just grieving in the process and stuff. You can flip back in between those two and be like, oh, that's a little too jarring for me. But no, the director somehow makes it work. It's suspenseful when it needs to be. It's dramatic when it needs to be, and it just makes for a more compelling movie. So I really love the direction of this film quite a bit. Not everything is spelled out for you. Not everything is spoon-fed to you. There's a lot of stuff that happens that kind of you could think one way, and another person could think another way. you know, throughout the film, I think this is a nice kind of cathartic look at, you know, like I said, dealing with grief and loss and whatnot, and really kind of being stuck in between, you know, like the real world and the spiritual world, and having Kristen Stewart just kind of find herself along the way. So yeah, I think it's a very interesting kind of character study, and the way it's presented within the terms of you know, like horror and drama and whatnot. It's just a nice blend of genres. I never thought I'd say that, because I thought it'd be confusing as hell, but it actually works for what it is. So acting wise, Kristen Stewart's wonderful. What I like about her performance the most is that she's very subtle. She's never boisterous in her performance. She's always self-contained. And it's never like she's too quiet or too mousy. It's like it fits her character. Because like I said, she's kind of going through the loss of her brother and whatnot, and you kind of feel for her. And she has her outbursts when she needs them. She has her breakdown moments when she needs to cry. It's just a very self-contained performance, but also kind of accentuates her character even more because of how subtle her performance is. So I actually think her performance is absolutely the driving factor of the film, and she is one to look out for just going forward, because she's been doing very well post Twilight, you know, picking all these nice small indie roles and really kind of showing people what she can do. And she is an absolute you know, driving force behind this movie, and you just cannot take your eyes off of her. Not only is she a beautiful woman, but she's also just really kind of enticing as an actress, and you just want to see more because of how good she is. And this just kind of shows you that you can act in a subtle fashion and really kind of deliver the best performance you can. So the acting from her is really great. I guess some of the cons of some of the acting is that everyone else is just fine, to be honest with you. No one's really like a standout, but then again, it's not their story, so I don't expect them to be. And speaking of them, I forgot to mention this in the story. One of the cons is that there's a plot line that is actually very effective in its like kind of mysterious tone throughout the movie, but once it's kind of resolved, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. So I forgot to mention that. So but that also deals with one of the actors that was just kind of So yeah, so sorry guys, I'm just it's really hard to describe this movie. But yeah, one of the plot lines effective, but overall doesn't matter. But yeah, some of the acting from some of the other people, it's just it's fine, it's serviceable. Cinematography wise, I thought it looked really good. It's nothing like that. It's not like mind-blowing cinematography. But when you're filming inside of Paris, and you have like these wonderful establishing shots to really kind of get the kind of like the romance and the sweeping epic of the city and the colors that kind of pop out. Also, it could switch from that, like I said, to the horror, and have like these harsh, unnerving, you know, shots with the harsh lighting, and just really kind of capture the terror inside of you. So it's just very interesting cinematography as well. It kind of blends both genres and whatnot. So it's a well shot movie for sure. And the horrific scenes are actually shot very, very well and not overdone with the shadows or anything. I thought it was just right to kind of capture the scares within you. Because I was actually terrified. I was like, this is supposed to be a drama. Why am I scared? So yeah, well shot for sure. Editing wise, the movie's about an hour and 40 minutes. It flies by. I think the curiosity of this film and how it's going to end, and just what happens with Kristen Stewart's character, I think it should be enough to have people's interests, like, you know, held on throughout and never kind of like wander off or anything. So I actually think it's a very well paced film. It's fast when it needs to be. With, you know, it's heart pounding kind of horrific scenes, and then it slows down for more of its dramatic scenes, but it never feels like it has a problem with pacing. It's always just right. Music wise, it's also very good as well. It just kind of accompanies the film as it should. So guys, overall, I like it. I mean, it's such an interesting movie. It's one of the most interesting ones I've seen in a while, to where I didn't know how they were going to blend the genres, but it seemed to work. And overall, like I said, it's just a character study about, grief and loss and stuff, but it's told in such a unique manner that it's effective when it hits its genres specifically. So when it's a drama when it needs to be, it's a horror film when it needs to be, it's a suspenseful film when it needs to be. And when you can have a director create tension between scenes with Kristen Stewart just texting, I mean, you kind of have to like this film. It's just, that's how good it is directing wise. So guys, overall, I like it, but I do need to rewatch to see if I actually love it like some people do, because this is a very divisive film. I just want to give you guys that a heads up. This film may not be for you, but for me, I like it. So overall, guys, I'm going to give Personal Shopper a solid B. So what did you guys think of this movie? Have you even heard of it? Have you seen Clouds of Sils Maria, the film before this with the same director and Kristen Stewart and stuff? She won the equivalent to like Best Actress for this film at, what was it, Cannes or whatever. So, and no American's ever done that. So Kristen Stewart, all those people that are saying that she's terrible because of Twilight, watch her films after Twilight. I think you'll be surprised, including this one. So what did you guys think of Personal Shopper? Comment in the place for my face and let me know. And I'm Chase Lee reporting for DallasMovieScreenings.com, and tune in next time for whatever I review next. I'll see you guys later. I apologize if I sounded terrible while doing this review. It was hard to explain this. So I'll see you guys later.